Silly girl. Hi everyone, my name's Brittany and welcome back to my channel. Today is sort of an impromptu thrift with me because I recently went thrift shopping for one specific thing. I had one particular project where I needed about like 3.5 yards of fabric and I just didn't have that in my stash. So I popped out to the thrift store and I actually scored really big, and I wasn't anticipating that like at all, especially considering the first thrift shop that I went to, I think I found 1 or 2 items, and then the second one that I went to, I found just so many amazing things. So I thought I would share them with you today. I did put a poll on my Instagram stories and overwhelmingly everyone was like, yes, impromptu thrift with me videos. So that's what this is for today. So unfortunately, I don't have any like video of me actually at the thrift store because I wasn't anticipating finding a lot of things. So I apologize for that, but I will make up for it with the fact that I did get so many things. So this entire video is just gonna be me sharing all the thrift store finds that I have. All right, so I think Nodme is in a really good spot. She seems really happy here, so I'm just going to get started. You're gonna be covered by fabric soon. She doesn't care. One of the first things I found was actually this really awesome pillowcase. I got 2 of these, and originally I actually thought that this was going to be a quilt because of how it was all wrapped up at the thrift store, but it turned out to be 2 pillowcases and I really love them. I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with these. I might just keep them as pillowcases because they're so beautiful and they have such great detailing. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure because I thought that if this had been like a bigger piece, I could make some sort of coat out of it or something, but because it's so small, I think I'm just going to keep them as is and not take them apart. Okay, so this one right here is a really awesome linen rayon blended curtain. I absolutely love this piece. This is what I wound up using for that project, which I will pop in right here to show you the finished project that I did, and I really love this. I still have quite a bit left. I think I have, it says here, a yard left of this fabric, and it's just got such a nice drape to it. And I found 2 curtains and they were only $4.99 each, and I managed to get an entire 2-piece set out of it plus have a yard left over, which I think is pretty amazing. I can never pass up a good set of white sheets. Especially if they're 100% cotton, I feel like these are just like so good to use, especially as wearable muslins. Yeah, you can do anything with them. You can easily dye over the fabric. They're always like a really good weight, and these happen to be really crisp, so I feel like they haven't been used that much and they will just get softer over time, which is awesome. So this is one of the few fabrics that I found at the thrift store. It's this really beautiful floral print, and it didn't have any kind of labeling on it that said like cotton or anything like that because it is just a cut off the bolt fabric, and you can see somebody had actually cut something out like a project or something, which is pretty cool. But from the feel, I think that it is like a rayon kind of blend, and it's just really soft and awesome. And I have a little over a yard of this, so I think that I could make like a really nice tunic or a blouse or something. I just really like the drape of this. It's different from like your typical cotton, so I feel like you have a lot more options for what you can make using this type of material. So, but I just couldn't pass up the print because it's too great. Oh, bye, Nodame. So this next one is actually a pillowcase and a sheet combo, and I got just the peak of it when I was at the store because of how it was wrapped up, and I fell in love with this print right here as well as the ruffle. I once had a bed sheet that I made into my favorite dress ever. If I have a picture, I'll pop it in here, and it had a ruffle along the edge. And I remember just having the most fun utilizing that ruffle in the dresses design. And so when I saw this with the really peachy kind of florals, I was like, oh, I have so many ideas. And then they had the pillowcase, which is just as awesome because that means that I have even more opportunity to make different things out of it. This one I'm really excited about, and it's so soft and beautiful, and yeah, I'm just super, super excited. So this is another sheet and pillowcase combo, and I'm just gonna show the pillowcase since it's much smaller. Again, I really found like I lucked out with the florals this time. This one is just this really beautiful, like creamy kind of background with really dainty florals, which I'm super excited about. And I think it's just a plain cotton bed sheet and pillowcase, so you can make so many different things out of this. And it's got a really nice like mid to heavier weight feel to it, so I feel like it'll provide a lot of structure for like a dress or something, because I love structure dresses. Oh my gosh, I love fit and flare dresses, and this would make a great fit and flare dress. This is by far my favorite print that I found while at the thrift store. I saw it out of the corner of my eye and I was like, this bold floral is so amazing. I absolutely have to snag it and take it home. And I'm so happy that I got it because it's just so fun. It kind of reminds me, like, it's very 80s colors, but the floral is really beautiful and the drape of it is really nice and it's a good size. So it's 66 inches wide and I have 2 yards and 23 inches here, which is amazing. Like, that is enough to do so many things with. So this one is gonna be a special one that I kind of like, I think I'm gonna save it until the right project comes along. I'm not gonna rush into any decisions with this one here because it is just so stunning. All right. We're through one stack of fabric right now. So this next one, I'm not gonna take out just because there's so much of it. I had a double sheet set that I found, and I mean, there is a lot of fabric between these two sheets, and it's just such a cool, like, again, just so many florals this time, which I absolutely love with bed sheeting, the amount of florals that you can find because they're really beautiful. And yeah, I don't know what, I could make a whole collection out of these two sheets. Like, seriously, there's so much of it. There's 2 and almost 3 yards here, and also this one's 2 more yards, so that's like 5 yards, and this one is 85 inches wide. I'm telling you, if you don't shop for like fabric in the sheets and bedding and curtain section of thrift stores, you are seriously missing out because there is a ton of amazing finds there. This next one is a little bit faded in some areas, but I really just was drawn to the stripe on this material as well as the weight. It's very like lightweight. I can kind of see through it, and I love the color, and I think that it's probably like a cotton or a cotton rayon blend or something, just from how soft and drapey it is. And it just reminds me of summer. So I think that I could totally make a summer kind of outfit out of this, maybe a dress or a top of some sort. And if y'all are ever interested in seeing what I actually make out of these things, like, would you want a video of all of my thrifted makes? That actually might be a really fun one to put together, because I've already started making things from my last thrift with me, and I've been sharing a few of the videos, but it's kind of been like, so would y'all like a whole video just dedicated to what I've made from my thrifted purchases? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, this one is another one that I actually found at in the fabric section, and it's quite a bit of yardage. But this is a really cool like seersucker. I love the green and blue. I can't pass up seersucker. It's so hot here in Georgia, and I just absolutely love it. And there's so much of it. I didn't realize that there was as much of it when I purchased it, but it's 63 inches by 2.5 yards, which is amazing. So many things can be done with this. Look at that. Ooh, beautiful fabric. I'm super excited about this one because it's actually a shower curtain. I love like cotton fabric shower curtains. They're just so amazing. And this one is so cool. I absolutely love that it has all of these florals at the bottom and they kind of trail up into white, just like super garden and then into white. And I already have an idea for a dress that I could make out of this, which would be perfect for the spring and summer. And then the texture on this fabric is really cool. It's very slubby, which I love. I love textured fabrics. So yeah, already have ideas for this one and I can't wait. So I had originally picked this fabric out as the backup for that two-piece set that I had made out of the linen curtains. If I hadn't have had enough fabric for that, because again, I couldn't tell based on how everything was wrapped up. I didn't know if it was like a big curtain or a small curtain or a tablecloth. So this was my backup. This is just a really cool, gorgeous, like chambray fabric sheeting. It's like got a really good quality to it and I just love the drape of it and the color and it's just classic. So I feel like I could make so many different things out of this and there's so much of it. Oh my gosh, it just never ends. I think this is almost like a king-sized. I think this is almost a king-sized sheet. So I think that we're almost through. There's like 5 more fabrics that I have to share. This is another curtain that I found and I am absolutely obsessed with it. Oh my gosh, like look at this. It's amazing. It's so vintage and floral and even seeing it in the camera, like it's even more amazing. If that's possible. It's a much heavier weight curtain, so this is definitely something that I could see being made into like a pair of trousers or a more structured dress of some sort, or even a skirt. Like how cool would that be as like a maxi skirt or something? I absolutely love it, and it does have a little bit of slubby texture to it as well, which is really cool. I just think that it adds like a lot of dimension to the material, so super excited about this one. I've just got like a pile of fabrics all in a mess over here. Everything was so neatly stacked and now it's just all so messy. Here is another curtain or shower curtain. I'm not entirely sure. It could be either. It's not just plain white. It has really bold florals, blue florals at the bottom that then go up into the white. And I mean, I think that y'all can probably see a theme coming out here where I like florals that kind of taper off into nothing. I also just love florals. So this one is really great. It is a little bit heavier as well, but not nearly as heavy as the last fabric, and it's got a wonderful texture and I just love it. White is so not practical for my wardrobe at all, but I can't help it. Whenever I see like a bright white with a floral background, I'm just immediately drawn to it. It's the same for like black florals as well. I think I just like that stark contrast between colors, you know, like the white and then the bright color, or the black and then the bright color. It's just like wonderful. This is a beautiful pale yellow check square window pane. It's window pane. I knew that there was a word for it. It is a yellow window pane fabric and it's so luxuriously soft. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this. There were quite a few yellow sheets that I found, but this one was by far my favorite, and the little subtle print. And yellow is just so much fun. I feel like when you have a yellow print or a yellow fabric, you just immediately see it and want to smile, you know? So this one is definitely destined to be a summer dress of some sort, or, you know, more. I mean, there's so much of it here. There's so much of all of this. I feel like I have enough fabric to really last me a while. Okay. So I saved the best for last, and this was a total fluke getting these two fabrics. They came together and it was $4 for both of them, and I almost left them, but this beautiful tartan wool and this beautiful tartan wool, like this beautiful green, absolutely gorgeous. And then this is actually the one that I really was drawn to, this like beige tan khaki color, and I almost did not purchase either of these because I couldn't tell if it was wool or polyester. Like sometimes the feel of the fabric is really difficult when it's all wrapped up. So I almost left this thinking that it wasn't real wool. And then when I got home and unwrapped them, I actually found this tag and it says pure new wool, Moffat, Scotland, tweeds and tartans. And then I posted it on Instagram and some people reached out and were like, this is really expensive wool. It would go for a pretty penny over in the UK. And so I feel so lucky to have found it. And each of them is a little over a yard by 65 inches wide. There's enough to make a pair of shorts here for sure. And I immediately, when I saw this one, I was like, this is going to be a pair of Chandler shorts, 100%. For the fall and winter with a good pair of tights, like, oh my gosh, that would be amazing, right? And before I forget, I found one non-fabric related item that I wanted to share. Originally, I had thought this was some sort of vintage sewing case, but when I looked up the label, it turned out that this is actually a 1960s style makeup traveling case. I guess the mirror should have tipped me off, but how cool is that? This one is a really gorgeous green color and in great condition. It even came with the original keys. I don't own much makeup, so I may still transform this into a traveling sewing kit anyways. Such a neat find. Thank you again for joining me for this thrift with me. I am feeling super on top of the world, super lucky to have found what I found at these two thrift stores recently. And I'm just super excited about what I might create using these fabrics. I have lots of ideas for some of them, zero ideas for others, but that's kind of the beauty of finding fabrics at the thrift stores. You can just find your favorite ones and set them aside until inspiration strikes. So if you like this video, feel free to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you would like more of these types of videos. And I'd love to hear about your thrifting adventures as well, because it's so much fun, right? I love hearing about all the really cool things that other people have found while out thrifting, especially if it was on a whim like my recent trip and you just found a whole bunch of really cool things that you weren't anticipating. Thanks so much for joining in, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye. Ooh, did y'all hear my stomach just growl? No, they did. You want to say goodbye to everyone? You're just glad that all the fabric's gone now. Oh.